Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Microsoft's Chief Executive Officer, Satya Nadella.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to WPC in Orlando. It's fantastic to be back at WPC. As Cortana just reminded us, it's been a tremendous year of progress, a tremendous year of transformation. So I want to first start off by expressing my deepest gratitude and a thank you to each one of you for driving our collective success, but more importantly, driving success of our customers. What makes Microsoft unique is people in this room, this partner ecosystem. And that's right. Many technologies have come and gone. Many business models have changed. Customer expectations have changed. But what has remained constant is our commitment to this partnership. And WPC is where we come each year to celebrate the success we have together and also reaffirm that commitment. So thank you again, and it's fantastic to be back at WPC. I want to start the keynote off by anchoring us on our ambition. I want to talk about our mission and strategy, but I want to anchor it on what is the ambition that we collectively share for ourselves, but more importantly for our customers. I want to start with our mission. In fact, it was at WPC last year when I talked about this for the very first time, empowering every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. This has deep meaning for us. In fact, the way we got to this is by going back into our history and rediscovering that core sense of purpose, that soul that drove many a success in our past. A PC on every desk in every home, inventing desktop productivity, democratizing client-server computing. These are all things that we achieved together. And now we move forward to a mobile-first, cloud-first world. There are many things unique about this mission. That is what I want us to center in everything that we do with every product, with every customer interaction. We care about empowerment. There is no other ecosystem that is primarily and solely built to help customers achieve greatness. It is not about our products. We're not definitely trying to convert our customers into products. We are focused on helping our customers achieve greatness through digital technologies. We care about both individuals and organizations. In fact, that intersection of people and organizations is what is the cornerstone of what we represent as excellence. And especially if you look around, at WPC is where each year it hits me, is we're a global company. We want to make sure that the power of technology reaches every country, every vertical, every organization, irrespective of size. These are all unique attributes. I want to keep going back to these. There will be many goals like the bold ones that we have achieved, many ambitions like the ones we have achieved. But what remains constant is this sense of purpose for why, the reason why we as an ecosystem exist. That sensibility is what we've got to keep coming back to. And this is now a mission that we go and exercise in a cloud-first, mobile-first world. There are a couple of key attributes of what we mean by cloud-first, mobile-first that I think are important for us to key in on. When we talk about mobile-first, we're talking about the mobility of the experience. What do we mean by that? As we look out, the computing that we are going to interface with in our lives, at home and at work, is going to be ubiquitous. We're going to have sensors that recognize us. We're going to have computers that we're going to wear on us. We're going to have computers that we touch, computers that we talk to, the computers that we interact with as holograms. There's going to be computing everywhere. But what we need across all of this computing is our experiences, our applications, our data. And what enables that is in fact the cloud acting as a control plane that allows us to have that capability to move from device to device on any given day, at any given meeting. So that core attribute of thinking of mobility not being bound to a particular device, but it's about human mobility, is very core to our vision. Second, when we think about our cloud, we think distributed computing will remain distributed. In fact, we think of our servers as the edge of our cloud. And this is important because there are going to be many legitimate reasons where people will want digital sovereignty. People will want data residency. There is going to be regulation that we can't anticipate today. And so we have to think about a distributed cloud infrastructure. We're definitely going to be one of the key hyperscale providers, but we are also going to think about how do we get computing infrastructure, the core compute storage network, to be distributed throughout the world. These may seem like technical attributes, but they're key to how we drive business success for our customers, business transformation for our customers. Because all of what we do collectively is centered on this core goal of ours, which is to help our customers transform. When you think about any customer of ours, they are being transformed through the power of digital technology and in particular software. There isn't a company out there that isn't a software company. And our goal is to help them differentiate using digital technology. We want to democratize the use of digital technology to drive core differentiation. It's no longer just about helping them operate their business. It is about them excelling at their business using software, using digital technology. It is about our collective ability to drive agility for our customers. Because if there is one truth that we are all faced with and our customers are faced with, is things are changing rapidly. And they need to be able to adjust to that. And so everything we do has to support that goal. How do they move faster? How do they interpret data quicker? How are they taking advantage of that to take intelligent action? And of course, cost. But we'll keep coming back to this theme of business transformation throughout this keynote and throughout WPC, because that's where I want us to center in on. What's the value we are adding to the core of our customers and their ability to compete, their ability to create innovation? And anchored on that goal is our technical ambition, is our product ambition. We have three bold ambitions that I want to talk about. I want to start off by talking about reinvention of productivity and business process. Central to this ambition is the reinvention of even the category definition of both business process and productivity. We don't think of these things as separate things anymore. We want to bring together everything that is related to the core creation, communication, collaboration, and business process and blend them together. So what Office 365 represents, what Dynamics represents, we want to bring these different products today into one set of services which are extensible. And we want to do this in a way that all the other business application vendors, all the other productivity vendors can also integrate with. That is very important. It's unique about the approach we are taking. And the reason why we want to do that is we believe the various category definitions have led to a bunch of impedance mismatches inside of our customers and how they achieve their greatness, their differentiation. And we need to break down those walls. In fact, one of the other attributes that's unique to how we approach things is that our tools are things that you can use both in your life and at work. What we're going to do with Wunderlist, what we're doing with Sunrise and Outlook and OneNote and Sway and all of Office, these are tools that we want you to use in your life and in work. There's no dissonance between the two. We also want to build all of these applications, all of these tools, knowing that we collaborate at the core. It can be a small team, it can be a startup, it can be a large network which is not even bound to your own organization. This is where what we're doing with Social and Yammer, what we're doing with Outlook groups, what we're doing with Active Directory, these are core to how we achieve a more dynamic, network-driven workplace. We are not only building the tools, but we're bringing insights. Everything that we're doing across Cortana, Delve, and Power BI, personally for me, has been the thing that's changed how I interact with Office 365 over the course of the last year. I start by thinking about talking to Cortana about my schedule. I look at Power BI every day for the leading indicators of our success. I look at Delve to discover. In fact, it's the best visualization of what is happening inside of Microsoft. It is not about any reports that are sent to me. It is about exploration of the work being done inside of your organization. And of course, one of the attributes that I think is perhaps most salient but most important is how we harmonize the interests of friction-free adoption by users and consumers of our products and IT. This notion of people-centric security and management and identity is so central to what we are trying to do when we reinvent productivity and business process. One of the dreams that I've had for a couple of years now is to really question what is the frontier of this. You're going to see a lot of great demos today of what is here and now and what we were going to do in the next year. But what is possible as we look out? Just like last year when I was here, I talked about how we can change how people communicate using Skype Translate and cross the language boundaries. What is the equivalent bold ambition for breaking free of any of the boundaries that we have today between how people come together, how applications come together, and how devices come together? Especially when you deeply introspect on the nature of our work. We work to deal with exceptions. It's not the happy path. It's not like you get up in the morning and just get to work and everything just is automated. It is all about us bringing our ingenuity to solve problems that happen, challenges that appear, opportunities that we want to grab onto. And that requires us to be able to get more people involved. It requires us to bring different applications together. It requires us to work across devices. And so we got a project started to say, what's that nature of work? How would we go about doing something like that, where you're trying to handle a task as opposed to go into each application? You're trying to deal, let's say, with how you're going to overcome some churn issues in your customer base. You want to make some pricing changes, some offer changes. These are the kinds of real issues that we deal with on an everyday basis. But how will software and applications come together to support you in that? So I want to first start off by showing you the first demo of what this frontier looks like by introducing Project Gig Jam and Julia White. Julia?
Thanks, Satya. Now, Satya talked about exceptions, in this case, customers at risk. And many of us here have faced that exact situation. And we appreciate the need to engage with multiple people, get the right information, take action, and move with urgency. Now, this type of exception happens across all different businesses all the time. This is just one example. And I'm going to show you what it looks like to deal with this exception using Gig Jam. Now, for this demo, I am a business manager at a construction equipment company, and I've just got word that a customer of mine might be at risk. This is a real problem. I need to take action right away. I need to get the right information. I need to bring people together and make sure everyone's on the same page. So I've called this impromptu meeting with all of us here today to deal with this situation. And I've also invited Steve, who's going to play the role of the sales manager, and he's on his way. I think he's busy picking out his shoes, but that's all right. In the meantime, we need to get started. So let me go over here to my Windows PC, and I'm going to open Gig Jam. And you see, Gig Jam, it's an empty canvas, so I can fill it up with exactly the information I need. Now, Cortana is also integrated with Gig Jam, so I can just use Cortana to summon the information. So first, I need to get my customer information. Hey, Cortana, show me my customers. Now, Gig Jam in this case is pulling this information from Dynamics, all of my customer information, but Gig Jam works with many different line of business and SaaS applications as well. So now that I have my customer that I'm worried about, Northwind here, I need a bit more context, so I'm going to get my orders as well. Hey, Cortana, show me open orders. Again, Gig Jam is pulling this information from Dynamics as well, but these are two different data sets. They're not actually linked. But I can do that in Gig Jam very simply. All I need to do is circle the information that I want to link. And at the bottom, I'm given options to link right here. And based on the information here, the data set, it's actually suggesting what the linkage might be. So I'm going to go ahead and filter orders by customer. And just like that, you see that all of my orders map with my customers, even though these are different data sets in Dynamics. So I see back here that Northwind has not placed as many orders as they normally would. So that's a sign that there might be a problem, but I need a bit more context. So I'm going to grab my emails too. Hey, Cortana, show me my emails. In this case, pulling my email from Office 365, but this is all of my email, and I just want what's related to my customer. So let me filter that down. Hey, Cortana, filter email by customer. And there it did it. Again, automatically linked as well. So as I flip through my customers, you see my email is linked. Incredibly simply, I'm getting just what I need. Now I see from my email that Northwind's been having some delivery issues, so no wonder there might be at risk. So now I have the information I need, but I need to share it out here in this meeting with Steve, who's on his way. Again, I can use Gig Jam to share with whomever I want. Again, I'm just going to circle here the information that I want to share. Now, in this case, there's two confidential orders. They're the ones that start with the letter Z. I don't want to share those, so all I have to do is just cross those out. And you see it's grayed out, and that means that won't be shared. And I have complete control. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with Steve, who's on his way, as well as the hub here in the room. Now, I have the option just to show the information, but I actually want us all to work together. So I'm going to choose Work with Me and share that out. Now, when I do that, you'll see here on the hub, those confidential orders don't show up. Again, I have complete control over exactly what's shown, and what I see on my machine is more, what I share in the room is less. Clearly, this is not just screen share. This is something very different. What's happening is Gig Jam is actually creating a mini app, a unique mini app, with exactly the elements I described. What I want, what could be UI, it could be data, it could be anything. It creates that mini app, and then it sends it to each of the devices that I share. But I have complete control of what everyone sees, which is so essential to be willing to share in this way. All right, well, hopefully, Steve's on his way so we can get started in the room as well.
Hey, Julia.
Hey, Steve.
I'm sorry I'm late. I knew you'd sort of get started without me, but I was taking a look at some of the information that you shared with me on my iPhone on the way over here. So I'm right here on my iPhone with Gig Jam, as you can see. And I was kind of taking a look at this top order here, and it's the top order that is giving me a challenge. It looks like I haven't...
Let me try and reshare that with you.
Back out with me.
Yeah. Luckily with Gig Jam, it's very easy. I'm going to go ahead and hide those things again, and I'll share with you.
Let me just log back in here on Gig Jam on my iPhone, see if that's shared out with me.
Try that.
And it looks like it hasn't, so if you want to try and share that one more time.
Let me go back. I'll try it one more time here, just in case.
Let me just log in here, Julia, on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, let's try that
All right.
share one more time. Okay, there we go. So it's up on the iPhone.
Woo. All right.
I love my iPhone. Third time's a charm. So it's this top order that's given me some concerns, Julia. I think on this one, we really need to consider a discounting strategy with Northwind here to see, we need to keep this customer loyal. So I think that's one where we need to think about a real discount.
Discount makes sense to me. What percentage do you want to do?
Well, we can flip a coin here and we can come up with the discount, but I was thinking we should probably involve Katie. She's the account manager for Northwind. She's actually on site with them today. So why didn't we get Katie involved real time? She can talk to the customer, get a sense for what we think the discount will be that will keep them loyal.
Makes sense. Again, I'm just going to use Gig Jam to share with Katie. In this case, she just needs that order information in the middle. But again, I don't want Katie to see those confidential orders this time, so I'm going to cross those out again. And I'm going to share with Katie. Now, in this case, we know that she's with Northwind right now, so she's not available to work with us real time. So I'm going to have her work on my behalf, which essentially means I can delegate this part of the task out to her, and she can work on it while we keep meeting in the room. So let me just leave her a quick note what to do. And I'm going to send that off, and we can continue on with the meeting.
So as you and I both know, though, discounting is not a strategy. We need to get this customer committed long term. So what Gig Jam is able to do for me is it calls out into our product database that's held inside of Informatica, and it knows the context of the customer that we're currently working with. So if I take a look at the products inside of our customer database, it automatically knows which customer that we're working with. And these are the products that Northwind is currently using, currently purchased.
Nice.
So what I think we need to do is think about how do we get them sold on the roadmap. So I know that you don't have access to Informatica. You have Dynamics. I'm going to share this out for a temporary amount of time. I'm going to stream it over to you and to the hub. So let me, in the same way, I'm just going to circle this particular product. I don't think we need to share on the roadmap with them. I'll share this out to the hub. And in the same way, I'm going to choose to send this over to you. So let me circle that, redact.
Let me work with you on it when you do it.
Sure. Let me share that out. And you're going to choose to work with me on it.
Perfect. All right. Now, I didn't wait for just a second because something really important just happened. What you see here is actually Steve's iPhone, the hub, and my Surface PC all have a unique view. What Gig Jam has done is, again, created those unique mini apps, and each one for each device, you see they're each a unique view. And when Steve streamed more, it updated that mini app. And so now what's on the hub is actually a composite app of both information I shared from Dynamics and what Steve shared from Informatica. That's simply not possible before now. But it actually goes farther. It's actually linked the information as well. So if I go and I switch customers, you see even down to the products, it pulls all the way through. Absolutely amazing. All right, well, back to the issue at hand, of course.
So we got Katie involved to help us with the discounting. I think we need to get the engineering team involved to help us with the product roadmap, figure out who are the right guys that we should send out to the customer and talk about these new products.
All right, well, Talon's the engineering manager, so let me share those products with him. Pull that up here. And oops, circle there. Oh, you know what? You did it. Works with me. All right, you didn't let me work with it. Try to share it one more time and do work with me real quick.
Okay, let me just share this out with you one more time.
Otherwise, you can... There we go. Try to work with me. There we go. See if that works. All right, let's try this. It's not going to work this time. That's all right. We won't be able to get Talon in this one.
Okay, so why don't we just, we'll continue on through. I think we wanted to get Talon involved there on Skype. He's not available to us. Maybe I can just try and share that out with you one more time, or So Talon was going to get involved with us. He's on Skype. We could have him involved, talk about the product roadmap.
Maybe I could just share the orders with him, and we can
Maybe
look at it
that's what
that
we
way,
should do.
because he
Share
can
the
look at the
orders out
products
with
from the
Talon.
orders. Let's do that. I know I can share that with Talon. All right. And you see, actually, Talon is available on Skype. I see him right there. So when I send this to him, it's actually going to prompt an automatic voice call as well, so we can have a conversation about the information I just shared. Hey, Talon.
Hey, Julia, how you doing?
Well, we're good, but we have an urgent customer situation, and I need some people from your team to help out. I sent you some of the orders. You can see the products I'm talking about. Can you recommend which people should go talk to Northwind?
Yeah, for those products, I would definitely Anatoly and Bao. So let me make a quick note for you so you can follow up with them later.
Great, just put that note and put their names in GateJam. I'll be all set. Thanks for your help.
No problem.
Bye. All right, we know that's incredibly efficient, right? I only needed Talon for that one part of the meeting. He didn't have to be here for the whole meeting. And of course, Talon's happy because engineers hate meetings, and we can just keep going as well while we got that done. Now, Katie's gotten back to us, which is great. So let me go ahead and see what she's done. You remember, I had her work on my behalf, so I delegated this part of the task to her. But because she's working on my behalf, I want to review that before we approve it in the system. So here in GigJam, I can just go ahead and play that back. And I can see exactly the changes she's making, all of the edits here. So, Steve, it looks like she's recommending going from 14% to 25% discount. What do you think?
Well, 25% is a pretty steep discount, but I think we should say that, to keep this customer loyal, we'll make that a one-time only discount. So I would approve that from sales.
I'll go ahead and accept that. And again, real time, based on that, the mini apps update everywhere I've shared, and Steve can see them as well as on the hub.
I think we're done. We've got this customer loyal. It's great working with you, Julia.
All right, thanks, Steve. Appreciate the fast work. Now, normally, a customer at risk situation like this would have cost me half of my day, chasing after the right people, getting the right information, and making sure everyone was on the same page. But now with GigJam, I was able to summon the information from across all my different systems, link that information incredibly seamlessly, and then divvy up the work. Not the communications about the work, the actual work tasks themselves. And I had complete control of exactly who saw what information and how it got approved in the system. So with that, back to Satya.
Thank you, Julia. That gives you a glimpse of what is possible when we break down the walls between devices, applications, and people, and how we can bring them together. What you saw was not some fancy screen sharing. It was effectively creation of an application for a specific task that spanned many apps, many devices, and many people on the fly, and distributing that app to all of those devices. That's what we think is the future of business process and communications and productivity. So I want to move on to the next ambition we have, which is about building an intelligent cloud. With Azure and our servers, they form the core of this distributed computing fabric, the richness that is required from truly supporting hybrid computing to rich data services, application developer services. In fact, one of the core attributes or the core differentiators is productivity of developers in IT. These higher level capabilities that we have from our enterprise mobility suite or the operations management suite, our Visual Studio Online capabilities, they all come together so that you can, with agility, drive those application development projects and IT projects for your customers. We are the only vendor that's going to bring together, from an infrastructure level, three key attributes of hyperscale public cloud, hybrid, as well as the enterprise readiness. And we're going to do this with the openness and flexibility. You can write .NET apps and Java apps. You can run Windows and you can run Linux. You can support the backend for any application across Windows Phone, Android, and iOS. You can manage the identities. You can manage data and protect that across all of those platforms. That level of flexibility and openness is what we want our backend infrastructure, our developer tools to stand for. But the thing that I perhaps want to talk most about today is data. The key challenge or the key opportunity for any organization is to be able to convert data into intelligent action. In fact, the core intellectual property of any business going forward, the core currency of any business going forward, is their data. And the way to take advantage of it, of course, is to convert it into intelligence and, more importantly, intelligent action. And to do that, you have to walk through a series of stages. In fact, there are multiple questions that need to be asked and answered. You want to be able to find out what just happened, why it happened. You want to be able to predict things that may happen. And you want to get to automatically doing things because of your predictions. So we have taken all of the technology that we have underneath a lot of our own applications that we have built that exhibit these core analytic capabilities. Cortana, Bing and its web understanding, what we have done with vision and speech. And we took all of the big data infrastructure, machine learning, and all of that capability, and we're bringing it together in one suite called Cortana Analytics. This capability is what will help each one of you take very sophisticated technology and enable any business to transform themselves through the power of data. It's going to have core information management capabilities. That means you can harness all the data inside of your organization. It's going to have capabilities to store all this data in its native formats. It can be big data, it can be non-SQL data, SQL data. You want to be able to process this using a variety of different mechanisms: stream analytics, machine learning, SQL, MapReduce. And then ultimately you want to be able to interface all of that through something like Cortana, or through automating of business processes. And one of the key things that we're trying to do, in fact, the way I think about this, is when we were at the beginning of client server, what really democratized client server was innovation like Visual Basic. What is the moral equivalent of democratizing big data and advanced analytics? That's what led us to Cortana Analytics. And I want to talk about one organization, because this, I think, speaks to what's the potential. This is a small group that has a dream, and they want to use data to pursue that dream. Let's play the video.
To go as fast as you can possibly go. Oh Lord. I'm not afraid of dying. I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid of it. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. I just go, and I don't let up until I have to.
On the Eagle, there's over 30 sensors. They gather almost 12 million points of data. We want to figure out the best way in which for this car to run. Enter the Microsoft Cloud. We're able to take the data, automatically process it, and get the results in a time frame that was unimaginable in the past.
If you start thinking with fear, you're going to be living with fear, and you're not going to be achieving the goals that you set for yourself. Two things that I'm thinking before I take off. Let this be a testament that girls can do anything they set their mind to, and do not wreck this car.
We're processing over 2,000 measurements a second, and that's where machine learning comes in. We're going to be able to try to find the correlations that are probably not obvious, and drive this project to a greater extent than we ever could have dreamed.
We will make history in 2015.
All right. So I'm sitting here with Brandon Bass from North American Eagle. Brandon, in fact, this all got started a year ago when you sent me a piece of email. So tell me a little bit about North American Eagle.
Well, North American Eagle, it was originally a Cold War era F-104 starfighter. And what we did is we took it and we took the wings off. And with this, we are going to go out and break the world land speed record of 763 miles per hour.
Amazing. How did you get involved in all of this?
Well, I actually got involved with this about 4 years ago. Keith, one of the project owners, he was mentoring for another robotics team, and they held off on software a little too long. And that too long was 30 minutes before the game starts, by the way. And so someone says, hey, go grab that kid from over there. And they brought me over, and we got the robot coded, and Keith was really impressed, and he said to me, hey, I've got this special project, might you be interested in joining? What he did not tell me was that this special project of his was a 56-foot-long jet car that breathes fire.
That's so cool. So what's the role of technology in Cortana analytics and everything that you're doing?
Well, with the vehicle as complex as this, we're trying to go 800 miles an hour. And when you're going that fast, you want to have as much data as you possibly can to know that you're doing what you should be as safe as you possibly can. So at any given point during the run, we're collecting a total of 60,000 points of data from across the car. And with Cortana Analytics, we're able to take all of that data at the end of the run and actually make sense out of it. And instead of a person trying to sort through 30 million points of data, Cortana Analytics actually tells us where we need to be looking at this information.
It's amazing. So with each run, you're essentially collecting all this data, reasoning over all of it, figuring it out, and then going for the next run with modifications.
That's exactly what we're doing. And something important to understand about land speed racing, we get exactly 1 hour in which to turn the car around, refuel it, and run it the other direction to validate our speed.
So you're using all this power of the cloud to keep the car on the ground.
That's exactly what we're doing. But we're not just looking at what's going on now. We're also looking to what's going to happen next. And with machine learning, we're actually able to take all of the data that we've collected so far and predict what's going to happen.
That's awesome. So what's next?
Well, in September, we're going to take the car down to southeast Oregon, to the Alvord Desert. We're going to run it up to 650 miles an hour. Jesse Combs is going to set the women's land speed record. Ed Shadle, our driver, is going to set at another record of his own. We need about $100,000 to make that possible, so we welcome any help through our Kickstarter page. And early next year, we plan to go set the world land speed record.
Thank you, Brandon, so much.
Thank you, Satya.
Thank you. Thanks, God. I'm pretty positive that there are going to be a lot of people willing to help you on that. And the reason why I wanted to stress what Brandon and team are doing is because it shows the power of something like Cortana Analytics being accessible to any organization across the planet, irrespective of their size. Because that's really what we as an ecosystem stand for. Especially when at WPC, I know there are many of you who deal with small businesses in particular. And when we talk about capabilities like machine learning, they're going to transform not just large enterprises, but even small businesses and their pursuit of their dreams and their business. So I want to move to the last ambition, personal computing, the very core of our company. In fact, in January, we started talking about Windows 10 and how it's going to usher in this new era of more personal computing. We couldn't be more excited. We are 3 weeks away from launch, and it's not just the technology, but what Windows means for this ecosystem is what's humbling and is what's driving us. And when we think about the core innovation going forward in personal computing, it starts with the very nature of input and output. Windows 10 is going to run on everything from a Raspberry Pi to phones, to tablets, to PCs, to Surface Hubs, and to even the HoloLens. We're going to have this one unified platform, one unified experience. And that, to me, is key differentiator of what Windows stands for. You're going to be able to interact with it in the most natural ways. You're going to be able to speak to it like you interact with Cortana. You're going to be able to touch. You're going to be able to ink. You're going to be able to do mouse and keyboard. You're going to have the ability to do things like the holographic output. That natural interaction is going to be a unique capability of this one operating system that spans all these device types. It's going to be built for that very notion of mobility of experience across all of these devices. The feature that I'm most excited about in Windows 10 is this continuum. It's going to transform how we use devices in different modes. The notion of multimodal input is something that we made possible with innovation like Surface and Windows coming together. That's one of the core goals we have in terms of first-party hardware, creating new categories, stimulating demand for the entire ecosystem, and driving innovation. Trust. The more we talk about personal, trust becomes even more important. Because at the core of Cortana is the ability to collect all the personal data, your calendar information, your email information, your likes, your history, and reason over it so that it can help you with your attention, your time, which is the scarce commodity. And in order to be able to do that, you have to build trust into the core. It can't be conflated with other business models. It has to be built for you. And to us, Windows 10 and what we are doing in terms of building that trust, that notebook capability of Cortana, that's very, very important. It's just not a feature. In fact, it is everything as we think about more personal computing. We will, of course, lead the way when it comes to management and security of Windows devices. And management and security, Terry Myerson will come talk more about this, matters now even more, not just on your computing endpoints like the desktops or the tablets or even the phones, but even in your sensors. Because the attack vectors of the day today come from all these places. But when we think about more personal computing, the history of personal computing is punctuated by changes in input-output. And in this context, I'm very excited about what holographic computing and HoloLens represent for the Windows ecosystem, what it means for us as partners. In fact, this morning I want to show you how holographic computing and HoloLens can fundamentally change one of the core applications that is run on the desktop, Maya from Autodesk, which is a 3D app or 3D modeling app. It will fundamentally change how people think of what is possible with computing. And to show you that, let me introduce Lorraine from our HoloLens team. Lorraine?
Thank you, Satya. Together with partners, we can redefine how people work using existing software and tools in combination with Microsoft HoloLens. Specifically today, we'll take a look at using HoloLens with Autodesk Maya to rethink how we design in 3D. Maya's 3D modeling and rendering software offers a comprehensive creative toolkit. And with HoloLens, Autodesk can extend their existing software to provide new value to their customers. First, you'll see that we're using a special camera today. With this camera, we create a display technique that's like putting a HoloLens right on the camera itself so that the entire audience can see what my colleague Dan is seeing.
Thank you, Lorraine. Using HoloLens, we have shown that it can revolutionize the way people work, play, communicate, learn, and create. Today, I want to show you another example of how holograms can change the way you work and create. Creating 3D scenes using 2D tools require a lot of training and practice. Sometimes, to test a design, I create physical 3D prints of the model to make it easier to understand its relation to the real world. But 3D prints are time-consuming and expensive to do frequently. Today, I'm going to be using Maya by Autodesk, and I will show you how HoloLens doesn't need to replace the workflow I have mastered, which would be very costly, but instead can extend my existing tools and add spatial understanding to help me visualize my work better and improve my productivity. So let me put on my HoloLens and show you what I'm working on. So right here in Maya, I have my motorcycle that I've been working on. And to the right, I have a holographic representation of the bike. And everything you see, the stage, the motorcycle, and the toolbar, can all be seen on my HoloLens. And everything I do in Maya instantaneously updates on the hologram.
In addition to that, Dan can go beyond his monitor. He can manipulate the model directly, which will make real-time updates in Maya. To do that's really simple. Dan just takes his mouse, he drags the cursor off the screen onto the hologram.
So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the bike so you can see it from all sides. I can also scale it. I'm going to make it small and real big so I can see all of the details. I can also move it and place it wherever I want on my desktop. And if I had a 3D print, I could put them side by side and compare them.
Dan is still doing all of this work in Maya. He's leveraging his experience as an industrial designer. Now, one of the great things about HoloLens is that you can still see the real world and all of the objects in it. And you can overlay them with precise holograms.
So let me show you what we mean. Real life mode. So what this allows us to do is make changes directly on the motorcycle and see them in real time. Load orange. All right, that looks pretty nice. I think I like the blue one a little bit better. Load blue. Another thing I can do is add interaction points directly on the motorcycle and make changes to it. So let me update this mirror real fast. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's bring it back just a little bit. All right, that's nice.
You can see how Dan can lean over the bike exactly where the rider's head would be so that he can evaluate if those mirrors are in the right position for the rider. Now, this is something you just couldn't do with a 2D display. So we've talked a lot about how modeling 3D in 3D delivers faster iteration. Let's take a look at how HoloLens can improve collaboration. The mechanical engineering team for this project is located in Barcelona, which is a significant time difference away. But the ability to effectively communicate across time zones is critical to the success of this project.
All right, let's see if the Barcelona team has left us any notes. Show comments. One of the things that HoloLens can do is it knows exactly where you're standing and when you're looking when you leave a note. So you'll see that when I play Carlos's note.
Hey guys, we updated the wiring plan. Can we move the turn signal stalks from down here to up here?
This kind of additional context, seeing exactly what Carlos was looking at, adds further meaning to any note or communication that you leave behind. And clear communication improves collaboration, which leads to faster results and much higher confidence decision-making. As you can imagine, we are incredibly excited to help partners extend their existing tools with HoloLens. This was just a glimpse at how designing in 3D is changing. We cannot wait to see what all of you do. Now back to you, Satya.
Thank you, Lauren. I mean, each time I see it, it just gets even more exciting. It's really, truly mind-blowing. Up to now, we have thought about computing mostly as these mirror worlds where we have tried to model in digital form what you see in the real world. And for the very first time, we're going to have a computer which is going to allow us to mix the digital and the real, these mixed reality worlds. And ever since we announced this in January, we have been getting a tremendous amount of interest from developers of all kinds and enterprise customers and businesses, because we think that many of the business processes, many of the things that we do today using computers can be fundamentally changed, like the industrial design example you just saw. So we are excited about bringing HoloLens to developers and enterprises, and you'll hear more about it even in Terry's talk. So I want to close out. Hopefully you got a glimpse of what that sense of mission and purpose that drives us collectively to help our customers transform, both as individuals and as organizations. That notion of empowerment. But it starts with this high ambition that we have for reinvention of productivity and business process, what cloud and analytics can mean in ushering in the era of intelligence and more personal computing. Thank you very, very much. Have a great WPC.